Larry Crane, and I was fortunate enough to meet a man called Lester Levenson, who is well known around the world by millions of people as a true master. When Lester transcended, he left me a host of wonderful, wonderful advanced audios describing exactly what peace is, what awareness is, and how to get there. So in this audio, we're going to first listen to Lester's stories, listen to his comments, listen to his ideas, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to get to the place that Lester was talking about. So if you follow very carefully, we'll take you step by step of what Lester's story is, and what awareness is, and what beingness is, and how we got there. And then we will show you exactly how to do what he talked about. So let's listen.
What we're all looking for, and what we call happiness, I think it's much better stated as wanting freedom. Freedom from everything, and more so, freedom in everything. It's not freedom from the world. It's freedom in the world. Freedom to do or not to do on anything and everything. But this freedom we're looking for is so much other than what we think it is that very few of us really go all out for it. This freedom, which is total, that we're looking for, is not in a confined state of being a physical body. It is the state of pure and only being. It's the I-ness of us, the isness of us, the amness of us, but it is not I am something, I am a body, but just the amness. And that alone, when we see that, then we see and know that we are infinite beings, and that we superimposed upon this unlimited being that we are mental concepts, which we call thoughts, that I am this body, and my name is such and such, and the name and form is everywhere, and that is the real. We concocted this whole universe and have forgotten that we have done it, and we say it is real, and it is separate from me, and all it really is a picture in our mind. The only place where you see this world is in your mind. Put your mind to sleep and there's no more world. Don't wake up from this sleep and there's never a world again. But you are. So on this infinite being, or infinite beingness that we are, we superimposed a thing called mind, which is nothing but the total collection of our thoughts. And every thought is a limitation. Examine it, see it for yourself. Every thought must be limited. And so by now we have millions, if not billions, of thoughts of limitation that we accept as being real. So what we have to do is undo the thoughts, undo the mind, go into that realm just behind the mind, which is beingness, which is infinite. Everyone, all life is seeking to return to that state of just pure beingness. And that is a state in which we have this ultimate state of deep, very profound peace. It's a delicious, imperturbable peace, which is nicer than anything else ever. All right, so how do we get to this state, this ultimate state of freedom? The most practical method that I can see that you people, everyone here, could use, that is very effective and that will get you freedom this lifetime and could do it in a matter of months, is not ridding yourself of thoughts, of which there are billions, but of ridding yourself of the things that the thoughts culminate in. These millions and billions of thoughts from the past culminate in tendencies, little tendencies, of which there's probably hundreds of them. And if you drop one tendency, you're dropping millions of thoughts. Your tendencies you can see, they're always there. Tendency to get angry, tendency to react, tendency to want this, tendency, they're sitting on top all the time. You can see them. And the thing you need to do is to drop it as you see it. Now the dropping is easy when you do it. It takes less than 1 second to drop a tendency with millions of thoughts underneath it. And most of you here have done it. And you know when you do it, it's easy. And if you don't do it, it's impossible. You struggle with it, year in and year out. If you drop it, it takes less than a second. So what's required is to develop this method of dropping these little tendencies that come up when they come up, not in the future. Not to go home with it and work on it, but to drop it when it comes up. If you'll do this, you'll be doing it all the time. It'll take you months, and you'll be totally free. It's got to be done wherever you are, whether you're working or not working. Every time you meet people, these tendencies come up. You can react to them and get into that emotional play up and back, or you can look at it and drop it. You get into that emotional reactive play with people and you get deeper and deeper into it. You drop it as it comes up and you're free of it. But the important thing is every day, no matter what we're in, we have this opportunity to drop these tendencies. Drop one tendency and you're dropping millions of thoughts from the past. This is something everyone here can do. All right, now I'll give you a faster way. If you don't want to take months, you want to do it in weeks. These tendencies all culminate into what we call emotions. There's only about 8 basic emotions. When your emotions come up, if you'll will them out, drop them, with determination, say, I am through with this. It's dumped. Under each emotion are these hundreds of tendencies. So if you drop the emotions, you drop the tendencies and all the millions and billions of thoughts underneath them.
Now I'm going to show you how to get rid of your tendencies. It's not that difficult. It's easy. Just follow along. And as we get rid of the tendencies, we'll start moving into peace, freedom, higher awareness, and it's a step-by-step technique. I'd like to have you meet Lester Levenson up close and personal. This is a rare recording where Lester is talking about his life and how he came to where he came to learn how to be imperturbable and how to be awakened. So listen very carefully. There's a good message here. And when he finishes, we'll go on to show you exactly how we did it. Not talk about it, but how we did it. So listen carefully to Lester in his own words.
I was born July 19th, 1909, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, into a middle-class family as a very shy person. And I was graduated from Rutgers College in 1931 as a physicist, wanting to make money, wanting to make it in the world. And all these projects were rather short-lived because whenever I got to a point of success, I lost interest, and because I lost interest, my project would drop away from me. At that time, I did not know what I know now, that what I was seeking was actually the answers to life itself, and that nothing I had worked at would give me that answer. And as the years went by, I became heavy with depression, with sickness, and 1952, I had 2 coronary thromboses. And after the second one, I was told I wouldn't live much longer, that I might die any day, that I shouldn't even take the effort to go up a step unless I absolutely had to. Also, during that period, I was getting heavier psychologically and sicker physiologically, and so I was seeking aid. And I had 4 years of psychoanalysis, 4 times a week, under an associate of Freud, and this was the early 40s. And after 4 years of psychoanalysis, I was discharged with, quote, "Some people cannot be helped," unquote. However, I never said die. And after the second heart attack, after 3 days of cogitating with intense fear astir, I was extremely fearful of dying. But I realized, I said to myself, "You're still breathing, Lester. There's still a chance." So I sat me down and began thinking on an around-the-clock basis. But then, after the second heart attack and when I was told I wouldn't live, I said to myself, "Lester, you are stupid, stupid, stupid." Having lived 43 or so years and having reached the end of the line without happiness, without health. Therefore, all this knowledge that you have accumulated is of no avail. I had studied Watson's behaviorism in the 30s, Freud in the later 30s and early 40s. I had studied the philosophies. I had studied logic. I studied economics. I studied all the major fields of man. And with all that knowledge, there I was at the end of the line, making me realize that the accumulated knowledge of man was of no use. And so then I decided, start from scratch. Forget all that knowledge. Begin from point zero and see what you can pick up. So I posed the questions. What am I? What is this world? What is my relationship to it? What is mind? What is intelligence? What is happiness? And I began by asking myself, what do I want out of life? And the answer was happiness. And I said, what is that? Oh, that's getting everyone's approval. And that was a shock to me because I realized I was getting large amounts of approval from my family, from my friends, from most people that I knew. And here I was miserable. Investigating further, I went into the moments when I was feeling happiest. And I discovered something which to me was startling at the time, that it was when I was loving that I was happiest. That happiness equated to my capacity to love rather than to being loved. That was the starting point. I began correcting all my thoughts and feelings in that direction, from that of wanting to be loved to that of loving. And in that process, I discovered another major thing that kind of shocked me. I saw that I wanted to change this entire world, and that was the cause of my ulcers, or one of the major causes of it. On realizing how much I wanted to change things in this world, and that made me a slave of this world, I made the decision to reverse that. And then I began letting go of all my want and need to control this world. And in the process of following out these two directions, of actually unloading all the subconscious concepts and pressures in those directions, I discovered I was getting happier, freer, lighter, and feeling better in general. On seeing that this direction was good, I made the decision that if a slice of the pie tastes good, I want the whole pie. And I decided not to let go until I got that whole entire pie of happiness, and with it the answer to what am I, what is this life, what is my relationship to it. This decision allowed me to, as I claim, get the answer to life itself in a matter of 3 months' time. And I actually believe if I did it, anyone could do it, if they had that much want to. And in that 3-month period of time, all the ailments I had in my physical body corrected. All my miseries dropped away. And I ended up in a place in which I was happy all the time with no sorrow. Not that the world stopped pushing against me. It continued. But I was in a place where I could resolve things almost immediately. Having cleared out all the negative fears, all the negative I cannots, I would focus right in on the answer to every problem and get it very quickly. And so my whole life turned around from being one of formerly being depressed and sick to one of being happy all the time and in perfect health all the time. One of the things that happened in this process was identification with others. I saw that we are all related. We are all interconnected. Our minds are interconnected. Each mind is like a radio broadcasting and receiving station. That we are all tuned into each other unconsciously. We're just not aware of it. And that if a lot of the suppressed energies are allowed out, this becomes obvious to us. And once we identify with everyone else, it's just natural that we want everyone else to discover what we have discovered. That life was meant to be beautiful, meant to be happy all the time with no sorrow, meant to be with perfect health. And so, from that reaching that high point of understanding in 1952, from that time on, I have wanted to help others discover what I discovered. In the early years, I worked with people, person to person. Help for each one was dramatic and very effective. However, they would develop a dependency upon me, which would cause them to expect me to do it for them. And this was unconscious in them. And the reason for that is, from the day of birth until we are teenagers, everyone does have someone taking care of everything for them, their parents. And it's so deeply ingrained in us today, we still expect and want someone to do it for us. However, no one can do it for us. We must do it by ourselves. The only thing someone else can do for us is to show us the way, show us the method, show us how to get moving in a right direction. So for the first 20 years or so, after giving this freely to anyone who would listen to me, I realized that the amount of accomplishment was rather minimal, working one-on-one. And it came to me that to get this out to the majority, it would be necessary to set it up in a methodology that could be given out by others to others. And so I evolved the present system, a very specific method of undoing all the suppressed emotions, all the negative feelings, of undoing the inhibitions and compulsions, which are the things that are driving the world today in wrong directions. We have accumulated so much of suppressed energy that it is coming out in devious directions, upsetting our purpose in life, our goals, to the point where instead of making life a beautiful harmony here on earth, we are using the best of our energies in a direction of destroying this earth. We are today poisoning the air, poisoning the water, poisoning the food, and poisoning our minds through radio, TV, and movies. And we have gotten to the place where we cannot see how we are driving ourselves downward, and we are continuing in it. And the only way out of this thing is to first recognize that all this accumulated suppression is the cause of this downward direction, and that this accumulated suppression must be released in order to get the world in the right direction, in order to get each of us as individuals in the right direction in order to get us happy, healthy, and prosperous. This method that we have will do just that. However, it being experiential, it must be taught to each one how to release these suppressed energies so that these negative, unwanted feelings are dumped until we are rid of them. And we discover that when these negative energies are out, the efficiency of our minds are at their highest. Thinking is clear. We have a clarity that we never had before. We can see our purpose and direction in life and carry through. We discover that mind is only creative, that what we hold in mind is what materializes for us sooner or later, and that it's only because we're holding these unconscious, suppressed, negative thoughts that negative things keep happening to us.
Now that we heard Lester's story, it's quite an amazing story, and I will be telling you some more on these audios of what Lester told me personally that he didn't transform into a audio.